All right, hello, welcome everyone. I'm going to do a Thanksgiving color along. Hopefully I will have all parts of this up by Thanksgiving. This is out of the book Autumn Charm by Teresa Goodridge, if you would like to join in. If not, you are welcome to just watch. I am going to start with Prismacolors on my turkey here. I might bring in a few different brands of pencils on this one, kind of see how it goes to get those nice rich fall colors. I am going to do an orange pumpkin on here. Originally, when I planned this page, I was going to do a white pumpkin. Let me see if I have I don't want to show you the other part of the picture yet. Originally, I was going to do a white pumpkin, and then the more I got into doing like the leaves and stuff, I realized that is not the color I want. So I am going to stick with a good old orange pumpkin. But if you would like to do white, I do have a tutorial with the color combinations up for that. And I'm going to bring it down a little and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to start with our pumpkin here and our turkey head and kind of go from there. So the first color I'm going to start with is a little bit of chestnut. And this is just a nice dark brown. So I'm going to add a little under his feathers here and where her darker lines are. I don't have this sharpened to a super fine tip because I like to have that fuzzy edge to blend, especially with the shadows here. I don't want it to look like it's the color of the pumpkin as much as a shadow. Adding a very light. And then of course I'm going to do the bottom and go upwards just so it looks like a rounded appearance. I'm going for a little more of a darker burnt orange pumpkin than a bright orange. So depending on how you plan on doing your feathery leaf things up here, you can adjust yours. Okay, so my next color I'm going to take is terracotta. And this is just kind of a transition color. So it's transitioning us from this brownish color to the more burnt orange color we'll be using for the rest of our pumpkin. Now, I don't base layer, but if you do, you would start with your lightest color and do the same thing I'm doing but backwards. One second. Okay, sorry about that. So again, just putting in my terracotta here. I am just trying to build on a little on the lines she put in so that way they aren't as noticeable when I put my orange in. No, I would not put these colors away because we are going to come back and kind of do another layer, all that good stuff. Next color is pumpkin orange. And same thing. So I'm going over the top, back blending over all the colors I put down. Now I am leaving a white spot on this edge. I'm not going all the way to the edge with this color. Trying to make sure I'm center here. And this is where I'm going to kind of start creating some highlights. Alright, so then we got our pumpkin orange. And again, just a nice light layer, kind of plotting and planning as we go. This is cadmium orange hue, and this is going to be what a majority of my pumpkin is. So not all the way, I'm still going to leave some highlight spots, but this is going to be so again, I'm going over those other colors, kind of blending them. I am going to pull this line all the way up. I'm also going to make my own. That is personal preference. And you can wait and see how mine turns out to see if you like it. I feel like it just gives it a little more texture if I add a few of my own. Orange, just plain old good old orange. And again, I'm leaving a little sliver of white along the edge of that pumpkin. Just kind of randomly leaving some white. You can kind of see how my highlight is coming out even across. It's a pumpkin, whether you want to do it realistic. A realistic pumpkin wouldn't have like a even highlight like that, but you know, if you want to do like a glass pumpkin or a plastic pumpkin, or I'm just kind of going with it. You can always adjust it later. It is my favorite motto in coloring, is it is always easier to add more than to take away. Okay, now I'm taking yellowed orange, sunburst yellow, Spanish orange, any of those if you don't have. I know my Prismacolors well, but I don't know the sets well, like which sets pencils come in which sets if you have the smaller sizes. So here is our first layer. Now he is not blended out or anything like that. This is just first layer. So we're not the final look. Sorry, sliding around here. Okay, so you don't have to go back in with all the colors. If you feel like you have enough of your dark brown in and you don't want it any darker, just go to the colors that you want to see a little more of. So I am only touching up the very bottom and the very tip of my pumpkin with chestnut. Then I'm going to go to I'm skipping my terracotta for now, and I'm going to pumpkin orange. Just 'cause I really want to pull in this orange a little more before I put any more darker colors. So that's where we're going to kind of blend out. We don't want any streaks. I tried to do this fairly timed well, early enough where if you wanted to get it done for Thanksgiving, you can, but close enough to Thanksgiving that if anyone is home alone or don't have family or has some extra time, they could do it on Thanksgiving and still feel festive. And I wasn't sure, I was going to announce it, but then I was like, I'm not, because if something happens We had our Thanksgiving on Saturday. Well, our first Thanksgiving. I'm still gonna do a little one at home with my kids, but the big one with my brother and cousins and stuff because he works the rigs. So again, I'm gonna put in a little line here. So I have a 26-pound turkey to cook at home. I do a lot of farm to table cooking just because of allergy purposes. We can't have a lot of preservatives and things, so I will use that turkey in lots of other things. So figured I might as well get a big one. Okay. Now I am a touch heavy-handed, especially with these shorter pencils, so if yours needs another layer of blending, you just go over it in the same kind of order. You can also use a blender pencil. Notice I use my lightest color to blend. I struggle with blender pencils. For one, they smear the ink on the paper, on these papers anyway, not if you have better paper or print it. But I also struggle with wax bloom because I am a little heavy-handed, so I like to use my lightest color to blend. So there is our pumpkin. Okay, now we're going to bring in some browns for his head. And what we're kind of doing here is we're establishing the colors we're going to use throughout the page. Even though this page has tons of things going on, right? We have all these leaves, and then we have corn and more leaves, and then kind of these wheat things. We have leaves up here. I still want to keep it within that 5 to 7 color range. Again, not 5 to 7 pencils, because that would be impossible for me, but 5 to 7 colors. I'm not going for like a huge chaotic theme. I'm not going to color blues and teals and purples and pinks. I'm going to stick to, you know, a nice fall themed palette. So here we're going to start pulling in some browns. And when I get up here to this wood, they will kind of match. And then we'll pull it together there. We'll also have some down here on the ground. I haven't decided how I want to do, or what I want to do with my background with yet. If I want to just pull some chalk, or if I want to do some Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. So I am shadowing just a little around his face, because I don't want to lose that. So that was chestnut. I don't know if I said that in all of that. I'm going to pull a little of that terracotta we put in the pumpkin. Now if you're wanting a nice bright brown, you could do goldenrod, sienna, and dark brown. You could put some chocolate. You could do burnt ochre as a pretty color, which is going to be my next one, burnt ochre. And then for my lightest color, I think I am going to pull just a little bit of goldenrod. Now if you want to go in and color each feather individually, you can do that as well. I just kind of like the highlighted look on his face. I'm going to go back in with my darker colors and kind of touch up anywhere I feel like losing some color. I'm going to come back in with that burnt ochre. Just kind of creating a little bit of highlight around his face there. Okay, for the next part, I'm going to fill these in with poppy red. Now, these are reds that I intend on using in the leaves around here. So when you are planning for this, that is something you can, if you're gonna have any red in your leaves. We'll also use it in the berries up here. So that will pull those colors in. This is a Tuscan red, and I'm just using it as my shadow color. Sliding around here, sorry. Then I'm going to go back in with that poppy red, kind of blend all that together. I'm going to take a nice bright orange for his beak. And I'm going to take that cadmium orange and then just a touch of that pumpkin orange on the edges. So again, we're just creating a little highlight there for him. His beak. Alright, so there is the turkey part of things and the pumpkin. Next, we're gonna tackle the leaves and corn. So this is why I didn't show you the whole picture. When I looked at this corn, I thought it would be really fun to do Indian corn in this corn. So I'm going to show you my practice page, and you can decide whether you want to go with the straight yellow corn, or if you like the yellow corn, if you like the green husks, if you like the more brown husks. This is kind of the theme I'm going for with my leaves, not necessarily exactly like that, but I do think I like the Indian corn look, and I almost do think I like the little pops of blue. So that is probably what I will do with my corn. Now, these leaves down here are all the same, and then these ones up here kind of alternate. So when you're planning, you can think of that as well. But first, before I hop into that, I'm going to come up here to the wood. We're going to get our wood in real quick. So I'm going to use, to start with, I will mix this with Prismacolor, but I'm going to use these. Let me find one with the whole name here. The Koh-i-Noor Polycolors. And I do like these pencils. They are a learning curve a little bit after using Prismacolors. I do base layer these ones and use them on top of each other instead of how I did those. But I also don't have the color. Oh, maybe I do. Nope. So I have two different sets going, so I don't have the color names either. Oh, this one says light ochre. The rest are too short. So I'm going to start with this color, the kind of reddish brown. I'm going to turn this just a little, and I'm going to put it everywhere. So give me 1 second. Okay, so there's our first layer. Again, not perfect, not blended. I just like to lay these pencils on top of each other. I do like these for wood, which is why I chose to do the sign in these. I've had a few questions about wood in a few of my other pages, and they were pages I've used these pencils on. So you won't necessarily get the same effect with Prisma. So I figured I would go ahead and show. So my next one's going to be this color, and again, I'm sorry, it's $4.79 or $32. I don't have the names. I haven't used these a whole lot, and I haven't used them for like a color along or anything, because I don't feel like a whole lot of people have them, and there's not a whole lot of conversion charts and things out, but they are nice if you are heavy-handed, such as I, because the tips do not break near as much. So what I'm doing is just building in my shadow areas now. I quickly colored that off camera so that we didn't have to watch me just fill in a base layer. We could get to the fun stuff, so I could get a little further along here. I am trying to have most of this up by Thanksgiving. It looks like a lot when you look at it, but a lot of it is not, I mean. It's not as scary as it seems. And I think honestly this part is why I avoided it the first couple years I had the book. And I looked out of curiosity and I hadn't seen a lot of other people tackle it. I seen a few, but not as much as some of the other pages, like the wallpaper ones with the little hats and turkeys and things. So figured we'll give it a try. So if you do color this, whether you follow along with my colors or not, and you would like to share, you can tag me on Instagram. Same name. That seems to be the easiest place. I also have a Facebook group, same name. So whatever works, if you would like to share, that is. Trying to see if that was something, must have been something under my paper. So I'm trying to avoid my leaves. I'm not worried about the little twigs because they're going to be dark anyway. That henna or chestnut I used on his head, I'm going to bring up as well. Okay, I'm going to bring in my dark now. And with this, I'm just kind of following the lines she has already put in. So this knot right here, I'm going to shade around these feathers a little bit like they're leaving a shadow. Just to kind of hide some of those wood lines, wood grains. Kind of shadowing under these berries here without getting the berries, and around the leaves. I am going to put a little under these letters just to help them stand out a little. That's a personal preference. It's up to you. What you think looks good. Okay, looking kind of silly. Now I'm going to bring in that light just again one more time just to kind of blend everything together. But not everywhere. I'm going to leave a couple spots where I'm going to put my highlight color. Everywhere I put the darker colors, I kind of want to make sure I blend out with this lighter color a little bit. Try not to turn the paper a whole lot, but it's kind of tough to do on this page. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this light ochre. And I honestly can't even remember which set of these pencils I've bought. I think it was the 72. Because I had a little set, which was this set, this cute little tiny set. Oh, not on camera. And I love them. So then I bought the larger set. And then I don't really pull them a lot now. So I think I have the 72 set if you are trying to follow along color-wise. Give me 1 second. Okay, so with a light hand, now what I'm going to do is make this look a little more woodish to me. So I'm just going to kind of put in a couple streaks. See where I kind of put some in. And darken up under this leaf. And I am just real light pressure. Lightest pressure I've used so far. Let me get around this P a little heavier. Just kind of pulling out some of that wood feel a little further. I'm not going to blend those out. So if you have anywhere that needs blended or darkened before you put these little lines in, I would do those first, because I'm not going to go over it again unless I see somewhere I really missed that looks really wild. Okay. So there is my Happy Thanksgiving look. So you could do this part with marker or what have you if you wanted to save time. But what I'm going to do, so that you know when the next time I come back these will all be done, is I'm going to take Poppy Red and I'm going to color all these little berries. Now they don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to have all the white filled in. Okay, then we're going to pull Scarlet Red, and I'm getting kind of a sharp tip because now I'm going to go around the bottoms and the shadows. Next, you can use pomegranate, you can use Tuscan Red. I'm going to use Tuscan Red because, again, I'm going to use it in my leaves on the turkey. Sharp tip. Same thing. Now, if you want to start with the Tuscan Red, you can. It will be a lot darker than when it's over top of the Poppy Red, but it will still blend out very pretty for berries. And then you can take an orange or a pale vermilion or your Poppy Red, depending on the berry you're going for. And then when they're all said and done, I will put a white highlight dot on them. So again, I'm starting at the bottom, wherever the bottom of the berry is, and I'm making a C shape. And then I just do that with all the other two colors. And that one got a little brown on it. Let me find my eraser. Sorry for the wiggle. Tried not to bump it. Those pencils erase off wonderfully, by the way. And I can see where I missed a little part of the wood up here. And I probably will come in and darken this just a little more with a Prismacolor in a couple spots where it's supposed to be darker. Alright, so those will be my berries. I'm gonna go ahead and do, let's see, what do we want to do next here? Let's get the words out of the way. Okay, for my letters, I am going to do a dark deep red, and I'm going to do a gradient up to probably orange. So I'm going to start with Tuscan Red, and I'm going to do an even layer across all the bottom of all the letters. Now, depending on how many colors you're going to use, how big your layers are. So if you're only going dark red, light red, orange, 3, you might want to do these a little bigger. I'm keeping the very bottom of my letters dark. Oh, and I'm trying not to get their outline possible. So I'm going to go back and look and make sure it's kind of even. They don't have to be perfect, but we don't want the dark on our Y to be way up here and way down here because it sets off that gradient feel. Okay, back with the same color we did on that berry is our Scarlet Red. Make sure I'm on camera here. Okay, so going right across that bridge. Okay, again, same colors. There goes that poppy. Not gonna go very high though. So all our reds should be blended together now. We are back blending as we go. So in the whites at the very bottom here. Somebody in my house has got the sneezes. Okay, so poppy red. Let me see quickly if I want to go poppy red burnt orange. And I can't go by that paper because that paper has a film on it that doesn't give me the true colors. I think I do. So I'm going to go poppy red burnt orange. This is just bringing in my pumpkin colors a little better. So now when I get to this point, whatever is left is going to be my lightest color, whether you want to go yellow, brighter orange. So I want to make sure it's even across the top like we did the bottom, which it is not. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want close. And then I'm going to take that yellowed orange. And if I need to come back with orange to blend those together, I will. But I think that works good. So you might want to keep your colors out if you are doing the same on the Thanksgiving part. So you know what order you did them in and what you used. Set mine over here. Sort of. That one, that one, that one. And then I will probably go around those when we are done with yellow. So let me pull out. Alright, so it doesn't look like too much yet, but we got our beautiful turkey in here. In our next video, we'll probably be filling in all this prettiness of his feather and things. And then I will finish the berries around the sign here and the Thanksgiving, so that part will be filled in. There will be a part 2 up shortly, so that way you can have yours finished by Thanksgiving if you would like. Questions, comments, requests, anything like that, please let me know. Again, feel free to share. My name is the same on Facebook and Instagram. And I thank you for watching. Bye.